These are federal felonies. Altering a vote or changing a ballot is a federal felony. People need to come forward now and get on the right side of this issue and report the fraud they know existed in Dominion voting systems, because that's what it was created to do. It's been organized and conducted with the help of Silicon Valley people, the big tech companies, the social media companies, and even the media companies. And I'm going to release the Kraken.
Oh, wow, she did. That's attorney Sidney Powell 3 years ago, falsely claiming Donald Trump won the presidential election. Those comments and more led to Powell's indictment in the Fulton County election interference case. Now, Powell is pleading guilty to the charges related to conspiring to overturn Trump's loss. As part of her plea deal, the Dallas-based lawyer has also agreed to testify against the other co-defendants, including the former president. Joining us now, former U.S. attorney and MSNBC legal analyst Joyce Vance. Joyce, how big is this in the grand scheme of things in terms of Donald Trump's Georgia election interference case?
Well, this is a big deal if Powell lives up to her obligation to testify truthfully. And that's because she's part of Trump's inner circle. You'll recall that she was involved in that December 18 meeting at the White House where they discussed really last-ditch measures in an effort for Trump to hold on to the presidency, including this just crazy notion that Powell would somehow become a special counsel with powers to investigate voting machines after they were seized by the government. So she's right in the thick of it. If her testimony is truthful, it should be compelling.
Is it too much to assume that they think she has some testimony that could be valuable? And what if she decides not to flip or break? What happens?
Right. I think those are the right questions to ask, Mika. Clearly, prosecutors decided that, and they have her taped statement that she gave them in advance of the plea agreement in hand now. So the deal that they've given her, they've relinquished all of the felonies. She pleads to 6 misdemeanors. She will not serve a day in prison. That's the kind of deal you give to a high-value cooperator. And of course, what prosecutors now have to hold over Powell's head is that if she fails to cooperate or if she is untruthful in testimony, she loses her deal and she's back to the point where she was before, spending 5 to 20 years in Georgia's state prisons.
So, Joyce, of course, we're talking about the Fulton County case here. She pleads guilty a day before her trial, expected to testify in the case. But you say this could have implications for the federal case against Donald Trump around the 2020 election as well.
I think that's right, Willie. It has to have implications that direction because her testimony in Georgia would be admissible if Jack Smith decided to try her down the road in Washington, or if she took the witness stand, she could be called in that case. And if her testimony was different, she could be impeached or she could potentially face perjury charges. This is the kind of thing for a defendant where once you stick your toe in the water, you have to jump all the way in. She doesn't want to avoid prison in Georgia only to face federal custody. I think this is a signal that Powell has either worked out a global deal with Jack Smith or that she's seeking to cooperate with federal prosecutors as well.
So, Claire McCaskill, the Kraken is flipped. Let's get your analysis here, drawing on your background as to what this could mean for Donald Trump, to be sure, but also others. That Georgia case in particular, there are more than a dozen defendants, nearly 2. Could we see a domino effect where others may decide to cooperate as well?
Yeah, I mean, this is a classic case where there are a number of defendants indicted with an eye toward gaining their cooperation in truthful testimony against the people who should hold most responsibility. This is, frankly, the plan that is executed on a daily basis in prosecutors' offices and U.S. attorneys' offices around the country. You want to take the less culpable and you want to encourage them with charges to be truthful against the more culpable. So this is a big problem, and I think this took the Trump folks by surprise. I don't think they thought this particular version of Crazy Town was going to flip, and she clearly has. Joyce, my question to you is, as you look at all these witnesses, and some of these witnesses are going to be applicable in more than one case, it has been radio silent about any cooperation between Jack Smith and the Fulton County DA and Jack Smith and the DA in New York. Are you getting any whiff with your contacts in justice? Are they talking to each other? Because even on scheduling, and I'm thinking back to the times I had to cross-examine someone, and I was, really wanted there to be something in writing, because especially when you cross-examine a defendant, many times they've said nothing, and you have nothing that you can tie them to in terms of previous testimony. Well, on the other hand, if you have somebody who has given lots of previous testimony, then there's always the ability of a defense attorney to pick apart the various parts of it. So the coordination in all these cases, to me, seems overwhelming. What's your take on that?
I think it's a really interesting question, Claire, and you're right. The special counsel's office has been a black box when it comes to cooperation with other offices. Sometimes I think it's been even difficult to tell whether local U.S. attorneys' offices have been involved. You might expect to see some involvement by the U.S. attorney's office in Atlanta with Fulton County, and that has not been apparent in any way. Look, it's clear to me that Jack Smith has one goal, and that's to try his cases as quickly as possible with as little distraction as possible. But it's impossible for me to believe at this point that there's not an open line of cooperation between Jack Smith and Fani Willis. And you, I think, identify the exact reason why that's essential. It's because of this notion that what witnesses say in one case can be used in another case, but it can also be used by defense lawyers. And so Jack Smith needs to know what's going on in Fani Willis's case. That means he has to open those lines of communication and make sure that there's coordination, if not cooperation, between the two offices.